welcome back to another episode of Why I Love BNI, your podcast spotlighting different businesses in different chapters on what they love about their business, how they help people, and of course, being a part of the BNI family. So today I'm super excited to have my guest Stephanie with us today. Stephanie, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm
Awesome.
excited.
Well, I'm super excited as well. Stephanie and I think got connected on one of like the online roundtables in our region. And then we had a great one-to-one, I think last week or maybe the week before. And it was super insightful for me to learn a lot about her business. And that's really what these one-to-ones are always for, is to really learn the best about someone's profession so we can continue referring each other. So I'll kind of let Stephanie take it away and just tell us a little bit about what you do and how you help people.
Well, I am in property management. So what I do is I work for homeowners who want to either buy investment properties or they own their own home and they want to rent it out, find long-term renters. We only do leases of 12 months or longer, and it's all
Mm.
residential. Um, Mostly single-family homes, such as, townhomes, obviously single-family homes, condos, etc. So what we do is tenant placement. We collect rent. We take care of the maintenance. Basically, our motto is you should, as a homeowner, sit back, relax, and collect rent and let us handle all the hard stuff. So
Oh, that's the dream. Because a lot of people want to rent out, but it can be hard to deal with those relations sometimes and having difficult conversations
it
when
is.
it comes to the people living inside of your home.
Yeah, I don't mind having them. Look, if your nephew isn't paying rent, I will tell him to get out. You don't have to.
There you go. That's why you have someone like Stephanie, which I think is a great question. I would love to ask, if someone is interested in maybe starting to go through the process of maybe renting out or leasing, like whatever that situation looks like for their family, what are some things they should know before they start contacting you or before they start considering, putting their house for rent?
Definitely obviously you want to check credentials, referrals. Obviously, I have an amazing referral source. So
Hmm.
I get tons of phone calls where, oh, hey, you were highly recommended by about 60 people. I'm like, oh, I know, thank you. But basically check referrals, check reviews. Google reviews are not just from owners, they're also from tenants. So are they treating the tenants properly? Are they treating the owners properly? It doesn't matter how long they're licensed, but it's what they know. I can say
Mm.
I went into it not being in property management very, very long, but absorbing so much knowledge in that short amount of time that it came natural to me. Um, Check the areas. Do they have other properties there? I like to say I work in Northeast Florida, so an hour outside of Jacksonville. But I only have one property in Palatka. So I may not be in Palatka as often as I am in St. Johns County. So with that, I'm not there every other day, every week. I'm only there once a month. So um, a lot of stuff like that, what their area is. Do they have a lot of properties in this zip code? It's not
Mm.
always about the fee structure. I mean, fees are based off of performance. So with any business, you get what you pay for. Um, so those are the basics, I think.
Yeah, I think that's super great because obviously I don't know the first thing about any of this. So it's always great to start learning some stuff in at least the right direction. Because you don't realize, I know the whole process of buying a house is insane and you don't even realize until you actually get into the thick of it. You're like, oh my gosh, there's so many steps to it. Just like
Yep.
renting out your home, I'm sure there's just so many steps that people don't account for when they come to you and they're like, hey, I decided yesterday I want to put my house on for rent. Can you take care of it? Like, can I get a tenant tomorrow? And you're probably like, no, we need to do some stuff first.
Yeah.
So at least that people can start doing at least the research in the right direction. And I think that's crazy, crazy great information to get. I'd love to know because I know when we had our one-to-one, I remember you're kind of like aware of many hats. You have so many skills in different areas. I'd love to know, have you learned anything in maybe any of your other past lives that you've been able to apply to property management that maybe you didn't see coming until you're like, wait, I know this because I did, X, Y, and Z in the past.
Yes. So I worked for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for just under 10 years, where I dispatched obviously police officers, detectives, SWAT. I took phone calls from emergencies. So I think with that, it helped me, one, learn patience because and two, to multitask, communicate, and be organized. So
Mm,
obviously if you weren't organized there, somebody could die. So
right.
um so my organization is pretty good. I like to say, you got my list back there, you can see.
There you go.
But not only that, but just having that patience with people, not just homeowners, but tenants. When something happens, they're upset, they want answers. I get those answers. I'm a problem solver. So I think having those qualities have really helped me. Not only that, but knowing the area, knowing every street. When somebody says, "Oh, here's my property address," I'm like, "I know that street." Let me just cross that off my list. Um, so knowing the area and trying to keep up with it as much as it's being built. I know we talked about how much it's grown in the past few years. Just being able to keep up with that.
Mm,
The previous job has helped a lot with
yeah.
learning. So
Yeah, and I really love how you mentioned that, obviously you're so familiar with the entire area, which is a lot of information and I think a lot of knowledge that people don't realize is actually really, really helpful when you're doing something like being technically like in that real estate world or being in the housing world. You know exactly what areas are what. If someone asks for a recommendation or someone is like, "Hey, I've never been in this area. What do you recommend I do for like my family or myself or this or that?" I mean, you know everything, so you can give people all this information that, people don't Google it for a reason. It can be hard to navigate the Yelp reviews of life, and you're just like, I just need someone to give me a straight answer. Where should I go get a burger
yeah.
today? Right?
Yeah. And although we can't necessarily comment on, crime stats or,
Sure.
any of that, it does help where I can definitely say, "Oh my gosh, have you tried Jenkins barbecue on Main? Like, get the
Yeah.
sauce, it's great." Just stuff like that. Just knowing the areas, like you said, where to grab a
Mhm.
burger.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that's something that a lot of technology can't replace when it comes to just our human interactions and our human knowledge and our opinions, because a computer can't go eat at the burger place and tell you if it's good or not, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there are different things that it's like, yeah, this is why I have Stephanie in my back pocket that I can talk to at any time, within reasonable hours, of course.
Of course, of course.
But switching gears just a little bit, you have a really great BNI story on how you first got involved. I'd love for you to share it.
Okay, so BNI, as a lot of people have that bad taste of BNI, like, oh, it's a scam, it's a marketing scheme, oh, it's a cult. Like I've heard everything. And so when I first heard about BNI, it was actually from a previous broker I worked for who is amazing. If she ever sees this, I love you. But she was she she did a lot. So she was doing everything at once. And so BNI was always, oh, I gotta go to BNI. BNI so early. I have to do all this for BNI. And I was like, oh my God, BNI sounds stressful. And I wasn't her, so I didn't see what she was
Mm,
getting out of it. All I would hear was how she had to wake up early, she had to be somewhere, she had to, do this for BNI and do that for BNI. Well, I did end up subbing for her a few times, and she was a member of the Hurricanes, and it was great. I met the people she in her chapter and she worked with there, and they were amazing group. I was like, I love this group. I would join this one, but she had that seat. So
mm.
took a break during COVID and was told that I needed to join a BNI chapter, and that was it. It was a direct order, and so I was like, great, let's do this. So I visited a couple. Wasn't too impressed because I already felt comfortable with hurricanes, and I actually got an invitation from our former CPA who was in the group I'm in now, Success Partners, and it was on LinkedIn. It was a random message. I never check my LinkedIn, so shout out to everybody who tries to message me on LinkedIn. I'll get back to you next year, maybe. Um, but I got a message asking if I wanted to visit his chapter, and I was like, sure, let's do it. And we were virtual at the time, so it was Zoom, and it was a lunch chapter. I said 11:30 p.m. Absolutely. And I hopped on, and the minute these people started talking and I started listening and interacting, I felt at home. I loved them. I said, these are my people. And I ended up joining the Success Partners. October 1st of 2020 was my first day, which is perfect because right at
Yeah, the
leadership
fiscal
change and
year.
leadership.
Yep.
So I really got to see all that. And we went back in person the beginning of the following year. And I loved them. I instantly like knew them. They were my people. They're
Oh,
my family. I felt
mhm.
comfortable to this day. Um, they're my favorites. That's my
Oh,
family.
that's
And
so special.
I'm so happy that I was forced to join BNI.
It's really great to hear the amount of stories, and I think a lot of people nowadays have that like preconceived notion when it comes to BNI. BNI is a lot of work, or it's a cult, or they just want your money or something like that. And
Yeah,
I'll be honest, like there are obviously like sometimes there are groups and there are chapters that are just not a great fit for you. And I think sometimes people
absolutely.
realize that when they visit a BNI chapter and they like I was in it, but it didn't work. And sometimes it's like maybe the members in that chapter were just particularly unmotivated or something, or
Mhm.
maybe possibly weren't doing some of the things that BNI expects of us every single week. And both of those combined, it can be hard to get something out of your BNI chapter. But when you're able to find that chapter, like you mentioned, where you were there, and it's Zoom too, and I feel like reading people's energy on Zoom can be different from in person,
Yes.
and sometimes even harder, because like you're through a screen and you can't actually like I don't know. For me, I'm always reading people's like minds like vibes or something like that, and just trying to pick up on
What
like,
am I
do
thinking?
you do you like me or not? Like that's what I'm always thinking.
Yes.
And sometimes it's hard on Zoom. So the fact that you were able to feel like right at home within the first, like hour or so is really incredible. And now it's been like what, 4 years or so.
Yeah, this will be my fifth, going into my fifth year. So yeah, yeah,
Congrats.
I live it. I live it. I love it. I preach it. I explain to my visitors how much it's changed me personally and my
Yeah.
business. So
That's so exciting. Really quick before we wrap up, this is always the big question when it comes to BNI, and you're really living it. Where a lot of people always ask, like, is leadership worth it? Should I be on leadership? Is it really that much work? What do I get out of it? Blah 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 blah. Can you share just a little bit on what leadership is for you and how you've handled those roles?
it's absolutely worth it. 100%. They teach VCP, the visibility equals credibility equal profitability.
Mm,
Just being present, being up there, being in front of people, and showing your dedication. It's a lot of hard work, 100%, but you get out what you put into BNI altogether. So taking that extra step to just be more visible and showing people your one responsibility, your willingness to help and take that leadership role, definitely helps. I've been on membership, I've been secretary treasurer, I'm vice president this year, and I absolutely love all of those seats. Next president, who knows? But it has really helped me, one, get to know my chapter members a lot better. People, we're constantly having new members come in and old members
mhm.
leave. So keeping up with everybody, it definitely helps me, but it also helps them get to know me being on leadership, because now they have to meet with me and they have to know who I am. So I would say it 100% has helped. It has boosted um, just not just my business, but me personally, my personal growth. It has
Yeah.
boosted so much since I took that step up, and I love it.
That's
I love
yeah. Oh, that's so great. And I think a really big part, like I just mentioned, is it's really easy to join a BNI chapter and really not do some of the things you're meant to do, right? And these are
Yeah.
things we should be doing in our business anyway, right? We should go try and meet out, do like a one-to-one with some like a potential business referral for either us or our clients or something like what that looks like. Giving a referral, being a part of the giver's gain. It's stuff we should be doing anyway, and sometimes it can get hard to keep up with it. But leadership, it really holds you an extra level of accountable because it's not helpful if, your secretary treasurer is in front of you saying, do these things. And then you look at their problems report and you're like, you're not doing any of this. What are you
You do
talking
them.
about? You
Yeah.
first, right? So it's definitely adding an extra level to make sure that you're all in on your chapter and you're giving everything that you can. And that's when you see the biggest amount of return. At least that's my personal experience. But Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on today. I've had a
Thank
lot
you
of
for
fun. You're always a
having
great person to have a conversation with, so
me.
I appreciate
Thanks.
the time today.
No problem. Anytime.
Sounds great. And to everyone watching, I really appreciate you as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.